Alright guys, remember, 5 more.
Because he's not
AC
into
3.
Danny at all.
Continue on.
So the core 4 is also disintegrating in front of our eyes. So the real power structure here, it's barely any of these alliances anyway. Really what it is.
Charming.
It used to be
Oh, peace,
Cody and
Charles.
Enzo
He'll
at
grow
the
in
top,
him.
followed by
Boy!
Danny and
Catherine,
Nicole,
you fussock!
followed by
Get
Tyler,
back
followed
here!
by Bay and
Daddy
Day,
needs a
and then you
drink.
had like Memphis and Christmas and
How
you know, a
fares the
couple others
search?
sprinkled in here and there.
Maps and maps are
Now
not cutting
it's
it.
more like
What have you local contacts?
Tyler at the top
We'll need to
with
earn their
his
trust
sort of like
before
secret
they'll share
weapon
what they know.
Christmas, and he's got his like
Oh,
you know,
dear, now we might be
I don't
affecting
know what would you
that.
call David, like
There's a man
very
who's taken to
unreliable,
enslaving natives. Rescue them,
cannon.
and they owe
Unwitting
us.
stooge.
Do you know where they're being held?
Right
Nightmare
now.
than I thought.
He's just like a wildfire.
Benjamin Churchwill.
Like, he could
He's
be
a finder
useful,
and
but
a
you don't
fixer.
have a lot of control
He's
over
also
him.
on your list.
Then
And
you
there I
got,
was
he's got
wondering
Enzo on
whom
board
I
with
might
him, but
solicit
more importantly,
next.
he's got
Well done.
Bay and Day with him tight, and then Cody is now a little bit below them, behind Enzo, and then Nicole is now behind Cody, and now Danny is like almost completely on the outs. But this could still change depending on the HOH next week, because if somebody like Danny wins, or somebody that they can convince to go after Day and Bay wins, then they might be able to win their spot back. And also, we cannot forget the Ian of it all. Because if Ian's theories come out, and I do think that they will, who knows
I love how
what
they just
kind of
fucking,
impact that will have on what's going on.
they
Because
kind of fast travel you with that.
I don't think that Day and Bay will mind all that much. But they need support from Enzo and Tyler. And if Enzo and Tyler feel like Ian is onto the group, and might be targeting either one of them, then it's no longer in their best interest to take this shot at Danny, who is not taking a shot at them yet. She's taking a shot at Day and Bay. And it kind of incentivizes them to close ranks,
Sir?
and Cody will definitely encourage it. So we'll see. They have exposed a lot of information, so it's going to be harder for them to close ranks without getting exposed. But
Seems
you know,
like
again,
we're not
we'll
the
see
only
where
ones
this
looking
goes.
for
But
Mr.
the
Church.
state of the house
Damn
is
it, it could be
very fluid
anywhere.
right now.
What do we do?
Yeah, very fluid right now. Sorry, let me go ahead.
Find him.
Oh no, I was just gonna say yeah for sure, and it's crazy because you know there were all these power structures, and we were thinking these aren't gonna budge. They're just gonna keep winning out HOH. You know, Enzo, Tyler, and Cody are just gonna exchange HOHs
I'll show
and
you how.
possibly vetoes. And it's crazy how, granted, it's not just from the wall yeller, obviously, but so many things can happen in the house, and it can just turn into complete fluidity, and we don't know what's going to happen next.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be clear, the one thing that could happen from the wall yeller is that things solidify back up.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that. Yeah, like there is a like dark timeline here where like the wall yeller causes everything to shut down as it's getting exciting, and then like the outsiders just continue to get targeted. You know, Day and Bay end up on the block.
And I haven't even mentioned the worst case scenario, I think, in terms of house stability, which is that Ian is talking about making sure he targets people in the core. He wants to go after Cody. The suggestion is put up Danny next to Cody, which would be the perfect thing for everyone in the power structure, because now, oh no, sorry Danny, we had to do this, but we'll convince you that we're taking out Cody first, but then we'll blindside you, and then, oh, Cody has no blood on his hands, and everyone gets to, you know, happily skip along, because everything worked out perfectly, and nobody had to betray anybody.
Yeah, that is something that I thought about, and honestly, I didn't even want to deal with that, because in your head it's like, oh,
Start
it's so
questioning
good. Like
those on
Ian
the street.
putting Cody and Danny
I'm
up on the
headed
block,
for
like
hire.
how much better can it get? That you got to sit on the block and look at each other. But then it's like, yeah, but the ramifications of that are really profound. Because if that happens, then somebody like Tyler, like he never has to make his big move. He never has to show his cards. Like everything that was getting exciting about what Tyler was doing is the fact that he's not afraid to show his cards. Like he's totally fine saying, look, I'll take the shot at Danny. I really don't care. Like I want HOH. Give me Danny. That's like basically Tyler. But if he ends up before him, he's not gonna then out himself and say, oh yeah, I wanted this to happen. He's gonna be like, sorry, Danny. Girl, bye.
And the only thing
we don't want that.
And the only thing that's going to happen, so if that were to happen, Ian cannot compete for HOH next week. Someone wins, maybe from that side. They put Ian up. He's already targeted to
He's the
begin
new
with
big
as
bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. As we speak, I mean, Kaser's going to leave and it's already happening. So if that were to happen, it's just going to...
It would literally be 2 more weeks of this kind of, like, we know what's going to happen. The stability of the house is solid, and we're not going to like the way things go. So I'm actually not rooting for an E in HOH. I'd love to see Tyler, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Tyler would be the most exciting because I do think he's willing to just stab her right in the front. All right, so let's talk Stockwatch.
Yes,
You guys,
let's do
you
it.
guys ready to talk Stockwatch? Let's.
By the way, just FYI, I saw the people in chat. Like Lavina is here because Melissa's away, obviously. Like I know, like she announced last week that she would not be here, and so it's like we asked Lavina to sub in and be a part of the show tonight, and she is an absolute star. So Melissa has given Lavina her ratings. So Lavina will announce those, and then Lavina will give her own thoughts and her own personal ratings if she wants to, and then we're gonna see what happens. I am not like I'll just tell y'all. I know who I bought last week in the Stockwatch, and I know what ratings I'm handing out. I'll be lucky if I can stay in the 2,000.
Oh no!
With luck, one of those people knows
All
what became
right.
of Fenrir.
Well, let's move on to the Stockwatch. Here we go. This is what we've got going for us. All right. Are we going in reverse alphabetical again? I was gonna ask and change that. Let's.
Apparently. Do you want to start from the right?
I like starting alphabetically. I feel like it's a good order.
Okay.
So let's start with Bailey.
I gave Bailey a 5 or 6.
No, Alexander does a great job. I forgot to tell her I wanted to do it.
Yeah, no big deal. We can work with this.
She does wonderful things. I believe Christina is actually filling in for Alexander tonight. So thank you to both of them for the great work. But let's start with Bailey. I'll start here with Bailey. Last week I gave Bailey a 5, and that's because I was concerned for her safety in the coming week, and I wasn't loving what she was doing. I feel in a very similar spot with Bailey this week. I feel like her position has improved because Tyler has managed to flip Enzo. She's on board, Day's on board. Like a lot of things are going right here, but people like Danny and Nicole are still very dead set on taking Bay out. Cody, I think if he won, might go ahead and just put Bay and Day up on the block because he feels like he wants to squash this whole thing. That's a little concerning. And then the concerning thing as well is that even if the Danny thing happens, Enzo still wants Davon gone. He does want to keep Bailey around, as does Tyler. But Cody does not want to keep, Cody does want to keep Bailey around as well, but Cody might change his mind on that if he's like, well, now they're keeping Bailey and they're close to Bailey. So I feel like Bailey has a deep run in her. I really do. But for as long as she is so attached to Davon, I just don't feel comfortable with her game because in a lot of ways, the things that Davon does in the house to fact check,
fairly or unfairly, yes.
Yes, it really puts Bailey in a spot where she is going to be put on the block next to Davon. Could go home. What if Davon wins a veto? What if anything can happen at that point? And it's just not a very good position to be in. So I'm still at a 5 for Bailey. I really feel like as soon as Davon leaves, I feel like Bailey's going to be in a great spot.
Where did you learn to do all this?
If Davon stays, I think she can slowly work her way up to a good spot. But it's going to be, there's still a long way to go for them to get there.
It guides the feet when
Yeah,
running and
for sure.
climbing.
And then so I think
Informs the
what I'm
hands
going to
when
do is I'm
striking,
just going to read, there's a couple of small
But
notes
most
that Melissa
important,
left me for each score, so I'm just going to read
transforms
those
the
off.
senses,
She actually has a big
and
one
we
for
begin to know the
Bailey,
world
so
in a different way.
can I just give my score right up
Of
front?
course, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Melissa's going with a 6. For Bailey this week,
place is well
and she,
guarded.
for the note, she
Need to
wrote, I
slip
think she's
past
been
them.
placed in a bad spot this week. She should be fighting to keep Kaser around, but she can't fight too hard or else she'll lose her spot,
Why?
or her own place in the game. I was really
Why
upset with
should
her at
she
the
be fighting
beginning of
for
the
Kaser?
week, but I'm really starting to see the tightrope she needs to walk here. She made a valiant effort last night and it almost worked, but she knew when to step back and let the chips fall where they may. I think she's in a good position moving forward. No one seems to want to target her right away. I'm impressed with Faye. The reason why she's not higher for me in her ranking is that she's still losing allies left and right, and ultimately may not have people standing with her when she needs it.
I'll have to find the
I
key.
think after I give
Wait
Melissa's,
here.
I'll give my own like hypothetical one. I think that I would go down to a 5 for Melissa's score.
Yeah, I
for
think,
mine personally, so I'm sticking with Taryn.
I would probably give
because
5.
I think that Melissa said that she's not being targeted right away. I feel like she is being targeted right
She's
away.
being targeted
Just
right
few
away.
people, definitely.
Yeah, because I feel as though, obviously like Danny, and then if she were to...
No.
The thing is, like Taryn was saying was that if
Damn it.
Devon were to
I'm
go
trying
up,
so hard to do that
obviously
stuff.
Bailey's going to go up next to
Just
her.
fucking
If
turns
she
around right
loses,
when I
then
fucking get to him.
there's a great chance that Bailey can go home. I want
Oh,
to rank
fuck
her higher
off. Now I can't
because
get the key.
I do feel like her positioning is better. And I've said this time and time again every week. Her social game this year, like her game this year, so much better. So I really enjoy
Is it
working
though?
with Bailey. I want to give her a 6, but positioning wise, and people are kind of actively targeting her right now,
I don't know
I'm
if
going to
she's
stick with
really
this.
doing that much better. I think she's doing
Yeah, I
around the
agree with
same.
Taryn. I think that Bailey has all the tools needed to make a deep run at Big
Here we are
Brother.
then.
But as things currently stand, things are really unsettled for her. And I do think that Devon, as much as I love her, is a detriment to Bailey. I think that Bailey is far more talented.
Why
than Big
must
Brother
you always make
than
these things
Devon
so
is.
difficult,
And
Benjamin?
overall, I don't
Merely
think that
provide
you
me
can,
with
like,
recompense,
I
and
just don't
all
think you
shall
can
be
feasibly
forgiven.
go above a 5 here because she's playing
I'll
an
not
average
pay
game
for
at this
protection
point.
I
Like,
don't need.
socially, she's
Clearly,
fantastic,
you do
but
require
position-wise,
protection.
it's really
Else we
dicey.
wouldn't be
It
here.
really is. Like, she's one of 3 people that I feel like could go home
How
next
very
week
good.
if, like 95% of the house
Now,
gets HOH.
what shall we
there's
do about
definitely a
our
way.
guest?
Like, Danny would obviously target Bailey. I don't know if she can get the
Maybe.
votes against Devon because the
I'll
boys
take his
obviously
hands.
want to keep Bailey. But
Put an end to
if
his
Nicole
surgery.
targeted, if Nicole went
Maybe.
HOH, I think I know that she's
I'll
kind
take his
of come off
tongue.
the Bailey train a little
Put
bit,
an
but I
end to
think
his
Danny
waggling.
can get her back onto the Bailey train a little bit. And what
Maybe.
else is she gonna do? Like put up Kevin and David?
I'll
I don't
take
know.
his
Like,
cock.
I
Into
think
his
there are
fucking ass.
I love that line
points
for whatever reason.
Bailey, and if she can get
So
past
many options.
this week
I can't
or so, I
possibly
do feel
decide.
like there is an
Take all
avenue
3.
for her to
No,
expand
hold
her
a
role in
moment.
the game.
Perhaps I was hasty in refusing you
The
earlier.
audience
I'm so very
is with,
sorry, Benjamin.
Brent and myself here on
But
this one.
that
The
door
audience
has
gave
closed.
Bailey
Be
a 5
reasonable,
out
Silas.
of 10. Down from their 6 last week. Not
I rather
happy
think I
with
was.
Bailey.
But you took advantage of my
Let's
generosity.
just bounce around.
I
How about
won't
that?
be made
How
a
about
fool
that?
a
What if we go
second
back
time?
and forth? Let's go to Tyler next. Let's have some fun.
Wait, what?
All right. Oh, Taryn wants to have fun. Oh my
I
God.
fear I
Like,
lack the
overall, wants
constitution to
have
bear
fun.
witness to
I
such
think Tyler's gonna
barbarism.
get some 10s.
Come find me when you're
This
finished.
is my idea of fun.
I know,
We just,
right?
we're
This is the
really-
guy.
You'll regret this, Silas.
This is
You
the
hear me?
guy.
I'll have your
This is
head.
the guy, y'all. Will not.
I
Like I
rather
said,
think
oh,
you
like he's
won't.
like, I eat plain yogurt. I said, oh, I love vanilla yogurt. Like it's really cool. He's like, no, not vanilla yogurt, plain yogurt.
It's healthy.
I'm like, I didn't
That
even
was
know
a
that was a thing.
disgusting comment, Brent. Vanilla is not plain.
Because I was like,
It's a
well, I'm
flavor.
exactly like, I said, I'm exactly like you, Taryn. I said, I eat vanilla too. That's all I eat is vanilla. He's like, he's like, it's not vanilla. It's plain. He was
Plain
like,
is
he was
like
like
hard.
adamant about it.
Plain is like
Who
tart,
are you?
Yeah.
not
Nathan
vanilla.
Kenway, at your service.
All right, Brent, how do you feel about Tyler?
I feel great about Tyler. I really want to give him
don't
a 10
understand.
just to like blow
But why
everyone's
are you here?
mind.
Walk with me, Mr.
I
Church.
could not be
All
more
will be
impressed with
explained.
Tyler. Obviously, you can tell what I'm going to give him. If I was almost going to give him a 10. I'm going to give him a 9. I feel like he is just like talk about being an excellent player, able to juggle so many balls in the air. Like, I'm really bummed that he dislikes me so much because, like, I really am such a big fan of him right now. Like, he's such a cool player, and, like, it's fun when he's on your side of the house. Like, when he's a player for your side of the house, it's really fun to watch. Like, I just don't think it can be... I don't think it can be overstated how hard he has worked over the last few weeks to put work in, subtle, boring work in on Danny, and how
Johnson's
he
told
shaped
me what you
the
want.
narrative to come to
As it
be
happens,
what it is
the
right now,
narrative
which
of me
is
is the
that
same
Danny
one that
has
you
got
seek.
to go. That didn't happen
His name is
overnight.
Silas
That didn't happen
Thatcher.
by planting a seed and dumping a bunch of
fancy
water
lad is
on
our
it.
slave,
It happened over a couple weeks,
Don't let
and
his
by the
velvet
time
tongue
it got to
deceive
the
you.
point where
A
he was
crueler and
going
more
to
vicious
target
creature I've
Danny,
never known.
it seemed like an obvious
What can
thing.
you
Like,
tell
even
me of
Cody,
this
who doesn't want
operation?
Danny to go, is like, he has no
He
way to fight
hosts at
against
least
it because of all
100
the
men,
previous
more than
work
half of
that
whom are
Tyler has
redcoats.
put into it. I'm
All
really,
this for
really
some
psyched
slaves?
at what Tyler is doing. It's just really
Hardly.
spot on.
The man's a commander in the king's
Awesome gameplay to watch,
charge
and
of
I
the Southgate
really hope
Fort.
that he has a chance to implement it. But the way our luck has
You
been
need to
going,
find
we'll
a way
probably get like a
inside.
David HOH or something.
Oh,
So,
no.
you know.
Don't put that
Oh,
in
like, to
there.
be fair,
I'll
I
attend
think
to
if
our
David
final
gets HOH, Tyler might be able to
Don't
control
put
that one.
pens on
So
them.
That's right, yeah.
I'll take
that
you
might
to
even
it.
be better for Tyler, and then, but also I feel like kind of keep intact the power structure of the game, because then Tyler would be like, oh look, I had nothing to do with it, but then like he'd be able to have David do his dirty work for him. So it's a 9, and he was really close to getting a 10 for me.
Yeah, you know, it's been such a tricky week for me to rate Tyler, because I was considering a 10 as like early
good to know.
like last night. I was like, could I give
Ah, you
Tyler
can give him
like
nine.
in terms of this week?
Either way,
because
yeah,
we go
stock
back
still
to
goes up.
Yeah.
since the
More
last
kindling for the
roundtable.
pyre, eh?
He put out the
Well, go on,
David
then.
fire. That was part of this week. That was incredible. He also flipped everyone on Danny.
How'd you
He
manage that?
pulled Enzo
Did
to
you
his side.
forget,
He took
sir?
over the power structure.
commission is
Like
with
in
General
terms of
Grant.
his actions
When I'm
this
not
week,
attending to you,
it's
of
like
course.
it's hard to ask for a ton more, because he has really done a lot of
can't.
great work.
Yeah.
So the only thing that prevents me from going there is his positioning is still not perfect, and that's not an indictment on his actions, because I think his actions were great. But I do feel like he still has some obstacles to overcome. One is that there is an upset Cody.
Were you planning to
who
announce yourself,
currently is getting
or did you hope my
stonewalled
men
with
wouldn't
his
notice
Tyler
your
stuff.
arrival?
Allow me to
But
explain.
don't
By all means.
turn your back on
I should
Cody.
like very much to hear this.
Cody could do a
I
lot
have
of
not
damage to Tyler
deserted,
if he
sir.
leaves him
I am here under Commander Armhurst's
unattended.
orders.
Show me a
and-
letter
and-
bearing
and I
his
don't think
seal,
that Cody, that
and
Tyler
you
will
might
leave
be
him unattended,
spared the
but it's still a
gallows.
danger.
I have no
he's not
such
like
thing.
if Cody,
The nature of
because
my
here's
work,
the, that's
sir.
the reason I was considering
It's
a
the
10
sort
last
of
night.
thing best not put
Is that
to
Cody
paper.
hadn't been upset yet.
Hey, Tony.
Cody
General
was
Braddock.
like he was
I
like
suppose
he
I
was
shouldn't
taking
be
it.
surprised.
He was clearly like
Wolves
trying to win
often
Enzo
travel
back,
in
but he
packs.
wasn't mad at Tyler
Master
about it.
Pitcairn won't be
And
here
it was
for
like,
a few
holy crap,
weeks. I shall
Tyler
return
managed
to his
to
proper
pull this
post
off
once our
and
work is
didn't
finished.
even like
The
trip any
devil's
alarms
work,
with
no
Cody.
doubt.
But
It's bad
he
enough
has
my
tripped an alarm
superiors
with Cody
have
now.
insisted.
Cody being
I
aware of
grant you
Tyler
use of
is
Charles.
dangerous.
But they said
On
nothing
top
about
of
this
that,
traitor. You'll not
if,
have him.
If Tyler is the one to take the shot at Danny
Listen
next
to
week,
reason.
I do think
We're done
that's
here. See these
a little bit of
gentlemen
a
out.
dangerous place to be for Tyler. A lot of things could blow up. A lot of people could look at him like, whoa, like he just made a big move. That worries me a little bit. And then the Wall Yeller stuff, the Ian stuff, I think could
Well, that
really
didn't go as
put
I expected.
a lid
Think
on
I
a lot
used
of
to
this
call
stuff
him
and
brother.
end up
What now?
like
They'll chase us off if we
reversing
try
a
and
lot of
return.
Tyler's work.
We're done with this
So,
camp.
Like with
As
all
luck
of that
would
in
have
mind,
it.
it's like, oh man, I'm torn. I'm going back and
Come
forth.
along.
I don't know where to go. From a 10 to an 8, I'm not sure. And
What
so,
are you planning?
To steal
ultimately,
Master
I feel
Pitcairn.
like
What?
You'll see.
based on the work he put in,
When I
and
give
like
the
the
signal to
speculation that
distract
he might be in a
Braddock's
bad
patrol,
spot is not
lure
enough for me
them
to
into
go
a dead end.
quite down to an 8. I have a feeling that if I do this tomorrow, or if I did it on Thursday, that I might have gone down to an 8 if I saw more of what might happen, or if he fixes it and it's all great, then I might have gone up to a 10. So I feel like 9 is the middle ground for me, and that's where I'm going to be. Lavina, what does Melissa have? What do you have?
No.
All right,
Its
so
residents are too
Melissa
content.
said, I think
Their
he's
homes are nice.
putting himself in a
Days
good
untroubled.
position and
One
is
of land or
seemingly
ship
winning
free. Yes.
the war against Danny.
First
I'm
fresh
consistently
arrival,
impressed.
facing in dire
So
straits.
Melissa went with an
They're more
8.
likely to seize upon an opportunity.
Really?
I think that that's a little bit low. You know, just
Damn it,
kind of
my
like
stock's
what
not
Darren
gonna go
said.
up nearly as
Reader
much as I
Bill.
thought.
No, I
I mean, either way, like Tyler's gonna be a 9, right? Like
no, but I
unless
think I would
the audience
give,
gives him a 7.
Myself give Tyler a 9 just because
But I don't think that'll happen.
I didn't really consider a 10 at all, just because for me a 10 is like holy grail. You know what I mean? It's like perfection, and I feel like nobody's really perfect. Hannah Montana said it once: nobody's perfect. But like my thing
Then why have a 10?
is if it's all about power, like where is the power shifting? And if if Cody were to somehow land into power, we don't know. That's to say, if Tyler makes that move, that big move against Danny. Who's to say he's like, you know what, I'm gonna make a big move.
Yeah, I
I'm
do
gonna
think
get rid of
9 is an
Tyler. I'm seeing
accurate
all of this
score. I just
I'm
thought
pissed
people,
off,
like I thought Taryn
whatever
would
the
have
case.
given it a 10.
So that's why I wouldn't go with a 10, but I definitely wouldn't go as low as an 8, because the first off, I'm super excited right now that I'm even giving Tyler a score. Like I'm sitting here giving Tyler a score. Like that's crazy to me, because the first thing that I heard about when I heard about an All-Star season, I was like, if they don't have Tyler Crispin for a modern all-star Big Brother, cancel it. Just don't even do it. You know what I mean? So I feel like watching him play is a joy, and yeah, I can't. So that's why I wouldn't go down to an 8. It just seems low to me. It's crazy how an 8 is low for a just.
The thing that you mentioned, Tyrann, the most that really hit me was the part about like Tyler needing to be attentive to Cody, because I don't know if you guys remember from 16, but Cody can get really petulant when he feels like he's been a direct affront against him. So if he feels as though that Tyler is doing this on purpose to screw over Cody a little bit, I do think there is danger there. But again, that's speculation. It hasn't happened yet, and past
Unhand him, Edward.
Prologue, so we'll see.
All right. The audience. This is for the second one in a
John
row.
Pitcairn with us.
Melissa, who I touted as the voice of the people.
I will not
is still
have my authority
for the
challenged.
second week in a row now. Not the voice of the people, at least so far.
Put them
the audience
all
did go
in
with a 9
chains.
for Tyler this week.
Good job, guys.
We did it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people in the chat saying they give him a 10, which is good. I feel like the people in the audience, like if you want him to be at a 9, give him a 10, because like it brings up the average stuff.
I'm pretty sure Tyler's one of the few people the audience has ever given a 9 to, and now he's done it in 2 different seasons. So kudos to Tyler. Let's bounce back around to Christmas. Let's talk about Christmas, where, man, Christmas was supposed to be the safe buy this week. She was supposed to be. I bought Christmas last week because she was the safe buy.
I bought Christmas a little bit. I did put most of my stock in the Tyler.
For some
And when you
reason,
find yourself
she decided to
lying
I
Well,
assume
volunteer
you've
for the
good reason for
block.
causing all this madness.
Now-
What is it you require of me?
I'll
So
explain
before
everything
you
on the way.
proceed, can I ask you something? I don't mean to stop you, but like I got shade on this for Twitter, and I said I would bring it up to you. I would take it directly to the source. So I bought some Christmas stock, and he's bitter because she's on the block, and he thought there's no way that the LFC is going to go above a 5 because she's on the block. And then Cleo the Leo on Twitter, longtime Twitter person for Big Brother, said, "What? That's bullshit. Like just because she's on the block doesn't mean necessarily anything." So you are not or maybe you are. I don't know. I'll let you answer. Are you penalizing Christmas directly because she's been placed herself on the block? Is it more because it could happen again? Is it more because she's really in no danger this week? If there was ever a week to volunteer with 10 people voting to volunteer to go on
Gentlemen,
the block after 3 women went home, I feel like
believe
this
I
is
found a
probably the
solution
week,
to
but,
our problem.
I just want you to address that concern,
Or rather,
Cleo,
Odysseus
that, it's not
has.
fair to
How do
penalize
you?
Christmas just
You
because
new
she
guy.
happens to be on the block.
The Greek
and
hero
in
you
safe
love
space.
Allow me to
For
explain.
me, it's the fact
We
that she
enter Silas
volunteered.
Fort under the pretext
is
of
going
kinship.
to penalize her for
Once
me.
inside, we spring our trap,
Christina in the
free
chat
the
says
captives,
that the only 2
kill the
people to
slave.
ever receive a 9 from the audience are Tyler
Dodgy,
and Dane.
dodgy.
I
I
believe
like
she
it.
was also mentioning
Then.
in the Discord, because we were having this conversation in the Discord the other day,
Let's begin.
that Dane actually received a 9
First,
while
we need to
on the
find
block.
ourselves a convoy.
In Big Brother Canada 7. That was the week that he convinced Anthony to save him, and so we knew he was staying, and it was great gameplay, and so we gave him a 9. So I don't think that being on the block by itself is automatic 2, 3, 4.
Right.
But I do think that it's not great. There's always a chance that something could if that wall yeller had been able to say something, who knows what could have impacted the game. Who knows what kind of twists might come. Jordan thought he was safe on the
Understood,
block
sir.
in season 3 of Big Brother Canada.
If we
So
turn this right,
being on the block in general is probably
catch them
going
all
to
unawares.
be you
Also,
know.
I also want to address this person. So Robert in the chat says she won't volunteer when it counts. Honey, it counts right now. What are you saying? The one thing that I thought that Christmas didn't even think of was the fact that Julie said a new room would be opening as other rooms are closed. They hadn't yet opened a room this week. We knew there was probably not going to be a room this week because they didn't announce anything about it on the show. But these people didn't know anything about it. What if another room had opened after the veto and potentially Kaser got off the block and now she's sitting there? Anything could have happened. So that's where I'm coming from. Cleo was doesn't this gain her some loyalty by showing that she'll take one for the team? And I think that that's admirable. That may be worth something in my ratings. But on the other hand, when you know that there are twists coming down the pipe and you decide to volunteer to sit up on the block for no apparent reason other than even when Enzo wasn't even looking for it. She just did it. Like, that has to be negatively rated, I feel like.
Well, also, there's these. I understand that a lot of these people don't really know that much about Kaser's past or like his history on the show. Whereas I think the fact that he's like America's favorite player, like or not America, like he's like a favorite.
He was
a favorite.
Yeah.
So my thing is if you were to know that information, why would you put yourself on the block this week? Where I like
Charles,
when you're
who
coming
believes
off of like
that
Janelle and now
that
Kaser
no man
leaving,
reaches?
you would think that there's a possibility that
What
the
about me?
producers might want to throw in a twist here. I know that obviously.
America voting,
We'll
yeah,
follow
like
from a
maybe we
distance
have a
to keep
vote,
watch
maybe we have
over
a veto, America's
signal you
veto,
when I have
we
needed
can save
services.
somebody, like they saved, what's his face, Valentine in Big Brother Canada, Ryan.
We're here to help you.
Like
Along
anything
with
could
those
have
hub
happened.
inside
Like
Southgate
she didn't know what the twist was. She's gonna get
Nothing
away
to
with it
inside the
because
gate.
there is no twist apparently
Can't
this
chance an
week. There's
inspection
no
of the
room
gate going
opening in the
wrong.
house this week. But again, they told them at the beginning
I'll
there
see you
was.
safe.
I would never have volunteered
my
for the
word.
block, and it has to be taken into account. Just FYI, my rating for her is 4, and like I think that's generous considering the fact that she
Do you
decided
know
to sit
anything
up
of
there
Silas'
alone. Anything
operation?
could have happened to her.
How many
Yeah,
men we
she's
might
gonna get away
expect,
with it, but
the
that
nature of
doesn't
their
excuse the
defenses.
action.
Well, there you go. I did go down from my last
You must
week's
be rather
7, but only
important to
by
him.
one.
Yeah,
I gave her
I
a
think
6,
a 6 is
actually.
accurate.
I still feel very good about her position. I think there's basically no chance she goes home. And
No.
I
Let Jonathan and
I
Thomas
think
take
that
care.
her
As you
volunteering
wish.
has increased the likelihood of her going up again, and that's
And wish
why
you
I'm
justice.
dropping her down. I
Though
think
I
her
suppose
volunteering
it's
has
only
also
natural to
decreased
be
her
wary.
win equity in a jury
be
vote.
it.
People don't like volunteers for the block. It makes them respect you less. But I think she's still very well positioned, and it's a long game, and she can win a lot of competitions, and I think she's still got a lot of potential.
To be honest, I might
moving
buy
forward. So
a whole bunch of
I
Christmas
dropped her
stock.
down to a 6, and that was
I'm
it.
definitely gonna sell
Let me
Tyler
know what you
stock.
got.
I mean,
So, for Melissa, she wrote that it sucks because I was actually starting to think she was playing a good game, but then she goes and volunteers to go on the block. Can't respect that. So that was her note for Christmas, and she said that she gave her a 4.
The chat coming for me because I gave Christmas a 4.
Engage
Look
the
what
enemy.
Melissa did while the cat's away.
Don't come for me. I'm I'm delivering the message, all
A lot
right?
of people buying Christmas stock I see in the chat.
Oh boy. Well, I can say again though here that the audience is with me on this one. The audience gave Christmas a 6 this week.
She went down by
down
2.
from their 7 last week.
Damn.
There maybe I've become the voice of the people. That's definitely not true though. It's definitely not true.
To be fair, I am inclined to agree with you. I was going to give her a 5. I guess I'm kind of more middle of the road. It's just I just feel like she's going to become like the block star of this season, and I feel like if someone's willing, like, kind of leaning towards becoming the block star of the season, I want to go more middle of the road scores, but at the same time, I don't want to give her a 4 because I feel like people in the house really like talking to Christmas. I feel like they go to her with a lot of information, and I feel like that's beneficial. So it's just a matter of what is she going to do with that information. So I feel like
But that's what she
Crystal's
could
wiggle
do.
room,
Like
but-
that's what she could do. Like what did she do this week?
Yeah.
That's what we're rating her play this
Engage
week.
the
This is
enemy.
what I'm seeing, and that's why I gave her.
Well, I will say I do like that she pulled in Kevin and she made a new alliance with Enzo. I think that was really solid play. I think she could have done that without volunteering though, and so
All clear.
if she just hadn't volunteered and had done that, I would have easily given her a 7, if not higher. Who knows? So. There it is. Christmas gonna land at a 5, which, man, that's brutal. That's brutal. That's for people that bought
Sorry,
Christmas
guys.
stock. All right, let's bounce back over to Nicole. Let's talk
Nicole
about
Fran
Nicole.
was
Last
overall
week she got a 7 overall.
I
okay,
think
let's
she
start
should
with
drop
this
to
time.
around a
Where
5
were
or
you
so.
at?
I think I gave her a 6, but
All right,
that's because like last week I would have
gentlemen.
given her an 8.
might go with.
State your business.
I think I would go with
Delivery,
like a 7,
Silas.
just because her positioning is still good. It's just that I feel like
Go on.
people are matching her up with Danny. It's day 1 of defeats. Danny and Nicole, they were paired up. They were hanging out. They're friends outside of the game. A lot of people are aware of that, and I feel like
See?
there's a
I'm freeing
possibility
you
that
just as I said
there's
I
a chance
would.
that they can
Now,
go up on the block together.
allow me to explain.
Again, I'm talking this to death, and I keep saying
So
how
we're nearing the 30-minute mark,
it's
but I
shit,
feel like we
you
might as well
know,
just
she's
try to
safe.
finish
You never know what twists
No,
can come about.
too well.
sequence.
What's
There's
the
a chance
plan?
that something could happen.
Free the
so
captives and avoid
I'm gonna go
detection.
with this episode.
Actually, I don't know. We're at 30
what
minutes
matters is
now.
Melissa Gabe,
He
and
dies.
Melissa decided to go with an 8 this week. And she
What?
said
Know when
that
you're ready
she's
to
still in a
strike.
good place, although possibly losing her ally Danny soon. But
What?
nonetheless, people don't seem to want to target her. Even after the Bullhorn,
What?
she seemingly isn't on people's radar as she should be.
Why is Nicole Fran looking an 8?
Yes, so I'm going to go with a 7. I
What?
think that her position is pretty good. The Bullhorn does make me
I completely
upset for her
disagree.
a little bit because I do think there are scenarios where she could end up on the block and a veto going the wrong way might be enough to send her home. Obviously, if she ended up with like something like her and Cody on
Forgot
the
that this
block,
game had
that
with though.
would be really terrible for her. I think that overall, like there aren't many people that she could sit on the block next to and go home. Cody happens to be one of those people, though. I do think that they would get rid of Nicole and keep Cody. But overall, her game is like.
But yeah,
the
fuck it,
same
we'll
red
go
sneak
for
game
finishing
we've always
sequence
come
3
to
on
know
this
and
one.
hate.
Or
Like,
sequence 2.
she makes plays. She's ultra paranoid. Which makes her cognizant of her positioning in the house, which is always why it's sound. And her position is sound. There are just a few danger hurdles. And to be fair to her, those danger hurdles are things that are emanating from outside sources and nothing that she did within the game. So I'm gonna go with a 7.
Yeah, I can tell you that the audience did stick with their 6 from last week.
Haters.
So, I will say though, I very heavily considered a 6 because I gave her a 7 last week, and I feel like her
Really, they're
position
still
has
that high on
deteriorated. Firstly,
Yeah,
and most
I think her
importantly,
position.
she has
She's lost Ian.
the blind admiration
Yeah.
and obedience that she had in Ian. That is no longer there. Now, the saving grace is that Ian is not going to be targeting Nicole. He does still want to keep her safe. However, he's not going to do what she says anymore, and that's going to screw her up. And that's a really bad thing to do. Bad thing for Nicole to have done to her. On top of that, she could be losing Danny as early as next week. That's also not great. However, as well, the strength of Nicole's game is that those things can happen. She's still not in a lot of danger of going home. As Pacer said,
Yes.
her game is to just kind of like
It's
be
so
protected.
malleable. It really is. It's like liquid gold. Like it's really good, smart gameplay. Yeah, I have a few issues with it, but it's
An
really,
hour of
really
quiet
hard to
was
catch
all
her
I
in the
asked.
spot that
Instead,
she
I'm
really
awakened not
needs
10 minutes
vulnerability.
later by this
It's like
cacophonous
she's
madness.
just like,
I expect an
So I would
explanation.
be better
and
off
it
fucking
has
buying
best
Nicole
be
Fran for
good.
Christmas.
Really is.
How?
I love how you
How
just
did
that
this
was the first
happen?
thought.
My precious merchandise set free!
Yeah, all
It's
right.
unacceptable!
Anyway, let's give her a score, Terry.
Rest
I
assured,
gave her-
I'll have the
I
heads of
actually
those
barely made a
responsible.
7 again for
But
me,
first,
so exactly
first
the
we
same
clean up
ratings,
this mess.
from last week for every single one of us here, and that's just again like she's
Seal the
losing
fort,
so much,
kill any who
but,
try to escape.
her
I don't
gameplay
care
is
if
Cody
still
should
fine,
drop
and her
or one of
positioning is still
them.
At least a
fine, 'cause,
7.
like, she's
To
not
approach the
power
gate
play.
is to be made a
Having these
corpse.
people
Am I
was
understood?
great, but she just uses them as shields, and so they're being used right now, and I have a feeling that she'll be able to find more, to be honest. She's been talking to Dave on a lot, she talks to Christmas a lot.
Push them back.
She'll be able to squeeze her way in somewhere else. So, that's where she's at. Alright, let's move on. Bounce back around to Cody. Let's talk about
For the order! No
Brent.
mercy!
How do you feel about Cody?
So, I gave him a 6, which I believe is my lowest ever score. I gave him an 8.
fuck.
That really is a definite hit for him. Which isn't outweighed. That's honestly the truth of the matter. But on the other hand, like I was trying to be
Stop
fair.
the interloper!
It's not like
Kill
it's
the intruders!
I didn't realize they used the word
He's
intro.
not like he's in a position in the house. He's not. But he's definitely being used by somebody.
Alright.
The
Got it.
worst part of it is, and this is really why I decided to go with the 6 rather than the 7, is because
Who are you?
I am
Name's
still
Haytham
not
Kenway.
convinced, as I
You don't know
teased
me,
at the beginning of the show,
but I believe the
he
two of you
recognizes it. He's such a
are well acquainted.
narcissistic piece of you know what sometimes that
I
I
made a
don't know that
promise
he
to
can
you, Science.
acknowledge
One I intend
that
to keep.
I'm being outplayed right now, that I'm like the ground underneath me is shifting. He may be completely oblivious to it. So until I see something in the diary room or on the cameras that lets me know that he has some self-awareness that Tyler is running circles around him right now, I think you really have to call into question his game sensibility, and that combined with the fact that he's losing someone likely in Danny who at least trusts him even if he does not trust her, I think that overall his work for the week,
happens now?
he's dropped the ball.
We
It's
wait.
a 6.
Lavina.
But not for very
Yeah, I
long,
think I was
suspect.
going to give a 6 as well for my own personal
I think I
rating
did give him a
or
6,
ranking
right?
because it's the same thing. I just feel like he's been completely outplayed by Tyler, and I feel like there are routes for him to take to get to maybe bring it back together, bring that power, you know, the Enzo, the Tyler, and himself back together, as we talked about previously. But we just don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to fall into power. We don't know, you know, if
It's been
certain
several weeks
conversations
now
or
since we
leaks
freed
take
them
place.
all
You never
prisoners
know.
from captivity.
So that's why I would give him
I
a
had
6.
hoped their leader
But
might
also
make
his
contact,
positioning,
but
like
there's
his
been only
positioning
silence.
as a you know,
My
as a
men
lone
grow
player
restless.
is
They want to know
okay.
what
It's
comes next.
still, I would say,
And I do
good,
not have an answer.
but it's just a matter of
Lee alone
being
remains
outplayed.
active,
like
pursuing leads, however
flat out.
slight.
And then
He
Melissa
stalks the
gave
city streets
Cody
and
an
scouts
8.
the bordering woods.
And she said
Hopeful
that he's
that he might make
pretty well
contact with one of
insulated,
those
which
we
I
saved.
am inclined to agree with. But
There
he
was a
might
woman
lose
there that
Danny
night.
soon, and she's a good shield for him. Doesn't
It
seem
was
like
she
the
who helped
bullhorn
the
really
others to
affected him,
safety.
even though people are still talking
If we can
about it.
find her, I believe
Okay, so
I have my
that
answers.
means that Melissa is staying at
So,
an 8. That's where she
I
was at
watch
last time.
and wait.
I can tell you that the
Hopeful that my
audience
true
went
mission
with a
might finally begin.
7 for Cody. Oh, he landed that 7. That was a close one. And I am inclined to stick with the audience on this one. Yet again, I guess. Wow. I feel like
Cody
I
didn't
was
drop
an
as
8
much as I
last
thought.
week. I'm down to a 7 this week. I did consider a 6. I did, because I don't like how he's handling the Tyler situation. I think it's a very risky way. I think he's kind of he needs a Derek there to be like, hey, calm down. This is the game plan.
Yeah, we'll end here.
Instead, he's
Next
kinda
episode
just
continue
like,
on. For now, thanks for watching.
He had